pink pad on her desk. Finally. But when she picked up the pad, her shaky hands sent a flutter of other papers to the ground. I bent forward and helped gather them up, choking back a gasp when I saw a flyer for Dream Fest. Dream Fest was this huge music festival happening next weekend in Miami. Jordan Banner, a Bop's Factory hitmaker who I was slightly obsessed with, was headlining, and I'd seen some Reddit theories that he was hosting an exclusive festival after-party at a tightly guarded location. I wondered if Mrs. Howard knew about the theory. Maybe she was one of the regulars on the r/ColorGuard subreddit. Maybe we'd been swapping memes for months without realizing it. The horror! I let my hand tremble as I tore off a pink slip and slid it across the desk to her. I shuffled her other papers and put them back in her filing basket. I'm sorry to be such a burden. I just feel so triggered by chemistry because, as I may have mentioned, I found my parents dead in their meth lab. Meth lab? I thought you mentioned the bathtub. Mrs. Howard leaned back in her chair as if the very mention of the word meth might be contagious. I don't have the mental space to explain to you how meth labs work. Mrs. Howard sighed and scribbled her pen across the pink slip of paper. Normally, I wouldn't do this. I nodded, eyeing dull signs on the strip mall stores across the street. I was so close to freedom. This is a one-time exception, Mrs. Howard said and slid the excused absence pass across the desk. You have to go to class. But the glossy sheen of her eyes told me this would definitely be happening again. I reached across the desk and snapped up the paper. She raised an eyebrow at how quickly I moved. Not a good sign. I know, I sniffled, laying it on a bit thicker. It's just trauma. I understand. Mrs. Howard lifted her hands like she wanted to do something absurd like hug me. I pushed the chair back from the desk and swung my backpack onto my shoulder. Mrs. Howard dropped her arms. We're here for you, I promise. Things will get better. This wasn't the first time I'd heard those words, so it wasn't the first time I didn't believe them. The whole afternoon stretched before me, free of fluorescent-lit classrooms and my peers in their carbon copy outfits. All I had to do was grab my things from my locker, exit the school's property, and hold on until my 18th birthday in 6 months, when I could move to New York City and, well, likely still be miserable, but at least be following in the long tradition of the miserable artists before me. Mrs. Howard led me out of her office and into the open space of the admin office. Mr. Robbins, the school secretary, was babbling on about a reality show he'd seen over the weekend. A woman was leaning against his desk, filling out a neon visitor's badge. She was about my height, with similar brown eyes and thin lips. Hattie, she said, no surprise in her voice. Busted. I unzipped my bag, pulled out a sour green lollipop, and popped it into my mouth. The sourness made seeing her a little easier. Hello, Mother. Mrs. Howard, being the sweet, naive cinnamon roll that she was, nearly collapsed from the shock. Mother. Mom offered her a firm handshake. Lauren Larken, I've been meaning to call you, but you're... Mrs. Howard looked back and forth between the two of us. And she's... Anyways, that's how the school counselor found out about my compulsive lying problem. Chapter 2. Not again, my mom sighed. What did she tell you? Was it the one about the circus? I've told her that story's not funny. And why isn't she in class? Mrs. Howard pointed at her notes. She has a learning disability? No, she doesn't. Hattie tests off the charts, Mom said. And she's not an orphan. I don't know why she tells people that. Mrs. Howard's eyes were so big they were practically down in her cleavage. I worried she might never recover. I'm a compulsive liar, I said around the lollipop. No, you're not. My mom's shoulders slumped as she turned back to Mrs. Howard. She's just having a difficult